Okay, so we're going to go ahead and discuss half-angle formulas, and this is close to the last of the formulas you're going to kind of have to memorize. We're going to kind of introduce the last one in this section also. But half-angle formulas are where the angle is cut in half. So we can pretty much do this by coming from a double angle formula. So if you have a double angle formula, since I'm putting cosine of u over 2 here, let's put cosine, there's another reason, but 2u, that was cos squared u minus sine squared u. So this u is half of this 2u. So we can use this to derive what a half-angle formula is, and we basically would want to solve for cosine squared. But if we do that right now, we're going to have two different angles, and that's not always going to be the easiest for us to work with. So we want to use something else, and we want to use something called Pythagorean, which we've heard a lot in this class, identity. This is probably the most important trig identity that you learn. And basically, it's also the easiest. It comes straight from your unit circle. So I just drew half of it. I guess I could have finished it out. And from drawing our first triangles in these unit circles. So if it's a unit circle, my hypotenuse is 1. That length right there is just x. And my vertical is just y. So if I do the Pythagorean theorem, that means x squared plus y squared equals 1. Well, if it is a unit circle, we know that x is the same thing as cosine. So this is cosine squared theta. Then y is the same thing as sine squared theta, and that equals 1. This we can use a lot. This idea, and this is just true, it's just an equation, identity, that is completely true at all times. Cosine squared plus sine squared equals 1. We can rewrite it a few ways if we want to. Cos squared theta equals 1 minus sine squared theta, because sometimes this may be more useful for us. Or we could do it the other way. Sine squared theta equals 1 minus cos squared theta. And there's two other Pythagorean identities that you'll see in your books, and you're more than welcome to memorize them. But really, they can all come back to this one. So this is the biggie. So how could I use it here? Well, here it'd be kind of nice if I could get everything in one unit. And since I have a sine squared u there, and I'm looking for cosine, so I might as well put it in terms of cosine, I'm going to go ahead and sub in. Instead of sine squared u, I'm going to sub in 1 minus cosine squared u. So I'll write that out. Cos of 2u equals cos squared u minus 1 minus cos squared u. It's a weird looking u. I think I was trying to make a theta. Okay, let's go ahead and combine. Cos of 2u equals cos squared u minus 1 plus cos squared u. So cos 2u equals 2 cos squared u minus 1. So hopefully that followed. So now let's look at this. Again, I'm looking for the half angle. So u is again half of 2u. So I'm going to write it out right now so we can actually see what we're looking for. Instead of having it look like cos of 2u, I'm going to write cos of u. And I'm going to say, okay, well, this u was half of that. So when I write this out, 2 cos squared, I'm going to write u over 2 minus 1. Now it's a little easier to see what we want to solve for. So let's solve for that cos of u over 2. So I'll add 1. Cos of u plus 1. And I'll divide by 2. That's going to equal cos squared of u over 2. Last thing I'll need to do is take square root of both sides. So I should just get the square root of cos u plus 1 over 2. That's going to equal cos of u over 2. Should be a plus and minus in front of this, but we already know that it's just going to depend on where things end up. So when you put a plus or minus, but the plus or minus is, if it's in quadrant 1, it's going to be a plus. If it's in quadrant 2, x is negative there, so it'll be a negative. Okay, so my half angle formula right here, I'm going to have, and we're going to write it actually as 1 plus cos of u over 2. And the reason we're going to do that is because I can do this the other way and I can solve for my sine. If I solve for my sine, then I actually just get sine of u over 2 to be 1 minus cos of u over 2 under square root. So the cos is just a plus, the sine is just a minus, so we're going to write it like that. Tan, again, you can find, but you also can just do sine over cosine. So we'll use these next.